All right, we're ready. We're live.
All right, guys. So we thought it'd be fun today to do a video recording our reaction to the video we made of Married in 3 Months. So we haven't seen this video in at least 2 years, maybe if not longer.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Well, I looked at the video and it said we made it 3 years ago, which I feel like it's been longer than that, but I guess that's all it's been. So we definitely haven't seen it in years at this point. So our reaction's definitely going to be pretty raw.
Very, very raw. That's the part that I'm excited for. Sayla, put it down. Put it down. She's messing
We're
with the
about to put
light.
Sayla to bed.
Yeah.
So she will just be in our little intro, but we're excited to give you guys this reaction. I feel like we've changed and grown so much within that time span when we filmed that video. I was 21. How old were you?
I was 24.
And now,
No.
you were 25.
You. I was 25.
No, you were 26 because we're 5 years apart.
Okay.
And so, yeah, you were 26. And now I'm 26 and you're 30.
Yes.
Go.
Go.
And Say is almost 2. She'll be 2 in February. So a lot's changed. Go.
Has changed.
Yeah, so we're gonna put this little girl to bed.
And we'll be right back.
Yep. Yeah, if the video looks a little fuzzy or whatever, it's because we're recording on a laptop, so.
Sorry.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, that may be too loud, but
Yeah.
we'll see. Technical difficulties. Should have did this while we weren't recording.
Okay, so let's just jump into it. So we met on vacation. I was with my mom. We were taking a
Shout out Drew.
Mother's Day trip, and we actually got there the same day, right?
Didn't see each other. Well, I didn't see her. She saw me.
I saw her.
Yeah.
So, okay, we got there the same day. This was in Cabo, Mexico.
No way. No way.
We got there and we're just, exploring. I see him and his friend. You know what? I didn't see you until the next day after we got there. We settled in, we went to like this little a little hangout area. It was an all-inclusive resort, so there was this big pool, and then there was a smaller pool that was like looking out into the ocean. And the next day, when we had like a full day of just stuff to do, that's when we saw each other. Well,
You saw me. That's what I'm saying. You saw me first.
yeah, I did see him first. I did see him first.
All right. I know I have to stop it. I have to stop it. I have to. Okay. So are we still recording? Okay, yeah. So the screen's paused. We're still recording. Our interactions with each other have not changed.
Yeah.
Like at all. I will literally say something and she'll go off on a different tangent and I'll be like, but that's what I said. Like, why are we going around like yeah, that's just funny to me.
But I also feel like this video, we did it so raw, like and unprepared. So our story, it definitely was the story, but it was also just kind of all over the place. I remember.
The story was all over the place.
Yeah, like it was in order, but I feel like it wasn't well thought out in a way. So everything was just like, wait, did that happen? Oh yeah, like it did happen. And we were like going through it as we were.
Yeah. I mean, you guys can let us know if you like that format or not. I personally like it. I don't want it to be like in point A and point all the way down to Z.
Well, no.
Okay.
All right,
Go
all
ahead.
right. Resume share. And then keep going.
I saw him and he was with his friend. And I was with my mom. Like, now I'm just repeating myself.
I love it.
Oh, I thought I was really.
Whoa. Why did I make that noise?
I thought I was really making that noise.
So I was in the pool doing water aerobics with my mom. I was like, let's get this workout in. We're drinking, we're having fun. We need to burn some calories.
We're drinking.
The other friend with his,
Ain't
or the
no
other pool with
way.
his friend. And I saw him from a distance and I was like, oh, I should go talk to him. Like, he looks really good. And so
I was so
I,
happy.
go over to this little adult pool where he is, and I'm so nervous. I'm like, no, it's not my time to talk to him. I'm like, oh, I need to walk away. And then so I did, and I just went back over, and I'm like, you know what? If he's still there the next day, I will talk to him, or we will meet. Something will happen. And so I go back to sleep in my room. He does the same. And then the next day we come out to the pool and I intentionally see him at this pool the first day. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna sit there this day. So I'm like, Mom,
What am I
let's sit
talking
here
about?
today. And we put our little stuff down. And it's super early in the morning. And this guy comes to sit next to me. And we're just having conversation. We're talking. And he's telling me he's here with a friend.
Why
And
am I
his friend
staring at you like
is-
that?
Oh boy, this is where it gets interesting.
And
Tell me about it.
I'm like, oh,
I have to pause it because I feel. Do you have to do something?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like that part of the story definitely hasn't changed. Whenever people ask us, so how did you guys meet? I feel like we always give them, at least the first time we met them, we say we met in Mexico and we kind of leave out the information of Jamal was engaged. And then normally if we meet them or hang out with them for a second time, then like we'll give them the full story. But when you tell people that initial, literally it's our face. They're like,
Yeah.
they don't do that, but it's like
They do. They definitely do. I
I mean,
mean,
we know we still know that's still like, but we definitely see
how
how
that's
God, yeah, he did use it, and it's fine. It's just like,
still a tough part of our story
yeah, for
to share.
sure.
But we have met a couple out here who have the exact same story. Shout out to y'all.
Bruh,
No,
you're not exposing.
look. They can tell their own story on their own YouTube channel. It's all good.
Dang,
All for
Jamal,
the
you're really
glory.
exposing people right now.
Hannah, how is that
They
exposing?
don't tell people their story like that.
You are making it worse being embarrassed for somebody else's testimony. That's their testimony. Like it is what it is.
Testimony to shame, though.
Gosh, it is what it is. Maybe I'll
Alright,
cut this part
yeah,
out.
you're gonna have to because she said she ain't never tell nobody that part.
She's never told anybody that part.
Oh.
Oh, maybe we got to.
All right. We're gonna have to
Going.
cut this out now. Jamal over here oversharing.
I could be, and if I am, forgive me, but I don't think they're that embarrassed of it. If they are, shame on y'all. Anyways, they shouldn't be embarrassed of their testimony. Like, what the heck?
You need deliverance. You should have came with me tonight.
Hey, maybe I do. But if anybody out there, y'all embarrassed of your testimony, you need deliverance as well. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Jamal.
Resume share.
Yeah.
Is it no? I gotta resume record or no, we already are recording. Okay, resume share and then hit play.
congratulations to your friend. That sounds like a fun time. And then shortly, a couple hours later, Jamal, he comes over and sits next to his friend. And I'm like,
Surprise.
this is your friend? Yep. That's it. He's engaged. And
Mm.
he's gonna get married.
Instantly heartbreak.
Instantly just like, I got this, we might have a chance. He looks so good, and he just seems so nice. But I'm not gonna go there. I'm like, nope, he's engaged. Like, let's just have conversation, all of us, including my mother. And so we start to have conversation, and I'm
So
like,
glad we don't live by a highway
like,
anymore.
based on his answers and based on just, the vibe or whatever, is going on between us. Between us all, really. We're all having conversation. And then the next day, or that day, we were just kind of call it quits. It's getting late. They're going out somewhere, and I'm going back inside.
Yeah.
Probably doing worldly
But,
stuff.
we should get some context between what was going on before the trip.
We should. I think we should figure out a way to like tell our stories at the same time. Because you not coming up to me in the pool that day was big, was huge for me specifically, because when I was looking out into the water, like that was my moment of just getting away. And finally I'm here in Cabo, away from all the chaos that was back at home. And so when you kind of were like swimming over and like, oh, I think he's killed, and talk to him, I was like, oh, don't do it. I'm over here, because I'm gonna instantly just X you out. I just here for God right now. And to just get away from life. And that's really what happened. You like swam away, and I was like,
Yeah, I felt in my spirit like this was not the right time. Like, don't like just go over there and interrupt their conversation. I was like, okay, we're gonna meet naturally.
yeah,
And so, yeah, I didn't, thankfully.
yeah, thankfully, because that would have been the immediately X. And then yeah, I walked over and the next day, and you were sitting there talking to Andrew, and I'm just like, yeah, come on, Drew, what are you doing?
Whoa, we're giving names.
Again with the like, oh my gosh, like, what are you doing? It's fine.
Yeah, so I sit down and he's talking to you guys, and
Okay, so we're talking about like
That's what I'm
obviously
saying. We
he's
didn't
engaged, so
prepare.
for us to even say
I was like, what
marriage,
happened next?
They need to have some context between your engagement
yes,
relationship.
oh, they were talking about my engagement at the time, and so I got there and I sat down, and yeah, I'm engaged. Obviously, I'm not going to tell some complete strangers that there was some awkwardness between me and my fiance at the time, and leaving to go to Cabo, we had gotten this huge argument, and so in my heart of hearts, I was done. I was gonna go home and break off the engagement. That was kind of like where my head was at.
So that's not entirely true. Okay, so that's not entirely true. In my heart of hearts, looking back at it now, I was more so in a place where, like, God, I do not want to, and I've explained this to my wife and numerous other people, but God, I don't want to. I've seen my parents get divorced and then them remarry, both parents remarry, and then they get divorced again. And then my uh, dad remarried again after that and then got divorced again. And so I'm like, yo, like, no, fam, I am done with creating that cycle in my family. Like, I'm not going to join myself with somebody that I could possibly potentially see this ending negatively. And so I remember being on the plane telling the Lord, like, if this is what you want me to do, I will do it. But you have to let me know if this is not it, then like you're gonna have to provide a way. There's no other way, because I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna do it. But if there is another way, Lord, let me know. And then
And you mean do it like you were gonna get married to her?
yes, I was gonna get married to her
Yeah.
regardless of how my heart felt about the situation. If it was the will of God, and I was going to be obedient to the will of God. So
Yeah.
yeah, had to make sure that I clarified that. I'm glad we're doing this. This is good. This is good.
I feel like too, we just look so different, but still the same at the same time. It's weird. Like just younger.
Yeah, I feel like we're definitely younger. I feel like we're just so raw. Like,
And it's so funny looking back because I remember when I made this video, I was like, oh my God, I'm so big. I don't want to post this, like worried about my weight. And now I'm like 50 pounds heavier than that. And I'm like, oh, she looks so cute.
that's what I'm saying, bro. You know what? Never mind. You know what?
But I feel like I'm still looking fine in this video.
You do. You look great. You look beautiful. I tell her all the time I love her just how she is and regardless of any of that. But I want to get back to this body as well.
Me too. We're on
So
our fitness goals for 2024.
facts.
The
Big
women know
facts.
when you have a baby, you just get a little bigger, and that's fine.
Dad bod is real, but I definitely can use probably a solid 20 pounds drop. I'm probably 20 pounds heavier than this guy right here, which is crazy. Crazy to think about. Anyways,
Here we go.
here we go. Man, I do not want to hit the wrong thing. Zoom share, because it'll mess everything up and we have to redo it.
Really just trying to figure out from God, like, what do you want me to do? If this is a relationship that you want me to stay in.
Oh, okay. I did
stay
explain
in
it.
But I need a sign. I need something to either take me into this relationship or get me out of this relationship. It's just not working for me. And obviously, I'm not going to talk about all the stuff that went on.
I keep yawning.
That's where I was.
Deliverance.
Leaving and getting there and meeting these two strangers from her and her mom. I wasn't going to divulge all of that, but they were talking about my engagement. So I was like, yeah. I'm engaged. And let's just kind of just leave it at that. And
Let's just kind of leave it at that.
it's not going the best. But
Mhm.
the way our conversation developed in Cabo was not anything foul. It wasn't anything too.
Okay, we'll get into it.
Okay.
We're not there yet.
We're not there yet.
And also some context behind, at this time, I was single, but kind of still entertaining an ex.
Kind of still sinning or whatever.
Really actively praying. Like this time, my relationship with God, I would say, was just basically starting over again. Like you can kind of see from my testimony video, I was a Christian and then went through some things, and that was when I was renewing my relationship with him. I was actively praying that God would send me my husband when I was ready. I definitely didn't think it was going to be that soon. I thought it was going to be like 5 years. But I was actively praying for it. And something that I specifically asked for is that this man was like my dad. And I just honored my dad. I loved him. He's such a great guy. And he's always been just such a good influence in my life and always there for me. And so I was like, has to be like my dad. And then so we start getting through different conversations and everything.
Say that again.
I said, be careful what you pray for because they're a lot alike.
That's exactly why I was gonna pause it too.
And it's good. It's still good. I mean, I'm happy God answered my prayers that way because I feel like I got all the great qualities that I want.
That's good.
But also some little qualities that I'm like, all right, could use a little bit less of that.
She definitely has sat me aside after spending time with her dad. We tend to gang up on her at times because we think
They're just,
alike.
like, so much alike, and I'm like, all right, chill out.
Yeah.
February 19th.
I'm sorry, baby. I'm
But
sorry.
it's all good.
Yeah, but it is. We love you, Pop. Anyways, continue, resume, share, and play.
everything. I'm asking him questions. At this time, I unfortunately was kind of like into zodiacs and stuff. So I was like, "When's your birthday?" And he tells me it's literally the same day as my dad's.
February 19th, if you guys want to give me a birthday gift, that is my birthday. Oh, yes.
And
You're
so
so
I'm
rude.
automatically like, ding, 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 ding. This is a sign. But I'm not thinking too much of it because I know that God would never send you another woman's man. Like, that's just not God. That's not what he does. And I was like, no, like, God's not going to send me my husband who's engaged. And so time goes by. We kind of exchange numbers at one point just because we were all planning to like go into town and hang out. Me, his friend,
Okay,
me, my mom.
pause it real
And
fast.
um
So I feel like this is something we've talked about now too. Again, we totally stand by God brought us together and he used all of it and everything. But we totally recognize that the way that we met was like low key based off a little bit of lust and like a little bit of
I think
what is the word?
I
Because I feel like obviously like even exchanging numbers, even though, you know, nothing happened outside of a hug or anything, like
yeah.
still like if I was your girlfriend, I would be mad. Like I would consider that cheating a little bit.
I completely understand that aspect of it. My perspective from the lust aspect of it was that, yo, your boy, before going into church, your boy going into ministry was out running around getting any girl's number that he could possibly get, tackling them, doing whatever I wanted to do before the Lord. Now, now coming into the Lord, I'm 2+ years into celibacy. So as far as like the lust factor goes, like of course I thought you were beautiful,
Yeah, I
but
mean
it
probably more
wasn't.
so for me.
Yeah, I was gonna for me, like I'm being completely honest, it was not this like I'm lusting after this woman. I truly, and we talk about it, I truly
Yeah, but
felt.
I do feel like too our relationship with the Lord at that point and what we based our knowledge off of is so different
So different.
than now.
We don't do
And we
zodiacs.
talk about all the time. We're like, honestly, God was so good and in the fact that honestly Jamal was really ignorant to a lot of new age things because the
Facts.
church doesn't talk about it. And so
So,
if he would have known, you know, that all of this stuff I'm doing is demonic,
yeah,
or like I think he knew to a certain degree, but not to like this is like straight from the enemy, this is witchcraft, like
right,
just plain like that. He wouldn't have even entertained me.
right.
So I feel like even though that's not ideal, obviously, I feel like the Lord still even used that ignorance
So true.
because now like that's something we both are passionate about, like unveiling and bringing to light. And yeah, like we absolutely are like if we didn't get married within that time span and in the way that we met, we wouldn't have gotten married because we would have discovered all of these unhealthy characteristics about each other and been like, No.
Yeah. And I think like in marriage, like to add on to that, which is a great point. I think in marriage, like the Lord uses your issues to refine your partner. And so in
Yeah.
that process of sanctification of like me not only seeing those demonic things about Hannah, like she saw things in me like that I just wasn't necessarily being a man about. And so like she had to go through the process of like waiting for me to grow up in certain areas and be the man that God has called me to be, and then vice versa, right? And so there's this molding process that the Lord takes you both to be more like Jesus. And
Yeah.
so I I think if you meet somebody at the very beginning and you're like, they're all that I need in this very moment, you are fooling yourself, because you are both going to go through a process to grow closer to the Lord.
Yeah, but I think part of that is like a good thing in a way too. Like it's good, but it's also like obviously like lean on the Lord more than you lean on that.
Yeah.
But I think that it's a good thing to go through that stage and to view each other on such a like,
High level.
yeah,
Yeah.
because you don't want to be like, oh, you have
You have this issue. You have
yeah,
this issue.
exactly.
Yeah. No.
And I feel
understand.
like the Lord the Lord naturally like refines you through just going through life with that person. And if they're the right person, then it's hard, but it's not something that, you know, is gonna obviously break you apart.
If she is the person that God has called you to be with, she is the right person, regardless of if she ticks you off or tries to pull you in the wrong direction. It's a revelation I just had recently that me and Hannah went through the Bible in the last 30 days, went through the whole Bible and reading in Genesis how God rightly fit Eve for Adam, and yet she still caused him to sin. And I realized in that moment that in a lot of different ways, men can look at their wives and be like, you're not it. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And you're not helping me. You're not being my helpmate. But the reality is God has called the husband to stand on what God has spoke to the husband and lead properly, regardless of what she's doing, regardless. So men of God out there, heads of households, please listen to what I'm saying. Regardless of what your wife is doing, you are going to be held responsible. You are going to be held responsible of what is happening in your household. So you need to stand on what God has spoken to you, and regardless of what she's doing, and the Lord will make it right. Because Eve was divinely fit for Adam. She was, and yet she still caused him to sin. So the wife that you are with right now, God can still make it right regardless of what she's doing. It's about what you, as the head of the household, are in charge of. It's just standing on the word that he spoke to you.
Yep. Same for wives.
Same for wives. Regardless of what your husband is doing, if you guys are called to be together, then trust God enough to that he will lead your husband in the right direction.
Oh, the verse that says that your husband will be won over by your good conduct and not by your words.
Facts. Big facts. It will melt his heart. I promise you, no matter how hard
He's
he
gonna be
tries to
like,
stay mad.
she just loves so well, and she just has all these amazing qualities, and I don't do anything to reciprocate it or anything I should be doing, but she's still out here doing it. And he's gonna be like, that's who Jesus is. So
Yeah. I
I'm gonna get
mean,
on board with that.
did you say you're going to get on board with that?
No, I'm saying that would be like what the husband's gonna say
Oh,
to the
yeah.
wife, and
He's
like
going to get on board
eventually,
with that. Yeah.
you know. All right, let's continue.
Let's continue. We're done preaching. Maybe not.
Only 10 minutes in.
I know. Jeez.
Her name's Alexandra. Alexandra.
Sorry for watching. Sorry.
Dang. Alexandria.
Yeah, we met
Hi.
another mom-daughter kind of duo. We're probably honestly gonna have to remake this. This is like all over the place, but it's fine.
Great.
Let's just
Exactly.
I'll leave all this in here.
This is what I mean. We have not changed at all.
I know, for real.
We come face to face, we meet, we start, okay, wait, maybe we should talk about when you. Okay, so we exchanged numbers, we were talking that night, and we were actually going to meet up the night that we met.
Yeah.
We were gonna meet up the night that we met, but so I'm vegan, and in Mexico, it was pretty hard to.
Oh, you did not have to pause it for that.
She said, okay, I'm sorry. I didn't have to pause it for that.
Tell me why I thought I had a revelation about being vegan on the way to church today.
This morning or
No,
this
when we were on
evening?
the way in. Okay, this might be kind of silly. You normally I wouldn't even say this on camera, but it just reminded me of it. Okay, so you know how we were just talking about pork and how like the Lord says like it will defile you or whatever. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know what he specifically said.
I mean, that's it.
So yeah, so I feel like you know how I was saying, I feel like the enemy uses veganism like low key. Like a lot of people who are new age and like all that type of stuff, they're like into being vegan.
Right. Which
And
we
not-
were.
Yeah,
For a
not
long
the
time.
not the only people, but it just seems to be a trend. And so I'm like, what if the enemy is using people in veganism so that they don't defile themselves with pork? And so like
What if the enemy
yeah,
is
like
using
he's okay, so people who are into new age and like spirituality and all that type of, demonic stuff, they
so that
typically
they get the
stumble in.
blessing over the Christians who
Well, no,
eat
not so they
pork.
get the not so they get the blessing, but you know how Satan works by legal.
Right.
Yes. So
Yes.
like if you were to eat pork, then that could be like a demon or not a demonic, but
A legal
well,
right. Yeah.
so wait, wouldn't that be the way?
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. Like how can
All right, never mind.
it's okay.
Cut that part out.
No, it's good. I get what you're trying to say. But that is illegal. That is a legal right. So
So I was like, oh wait, he'll use it if they're not eating it.
exactly. He would if they're not eating pork,
That doesn't make
it
sense.
doesn't make sense. They would obviously be more
They would be more
blessed.
inclined to eat pork.
Yes, they would be more inclined to eat pork.
That's
and
a
not have
different
blessing.
conversation. If you eat pork, it's fine.
It's fine. You can eat pork. You can do what you want to do. For us, we were convicted, and more so me again reading. If you read through the Bible in 30 days, that is a lot of word, y'all.
Yeah.
Like it is a lot, and you're not going to retain all of it. But what you do retain, you're really going to be like, the Lord is speaking this to me. Like I need to stand on this. And one of those things was got to cut out pork.
Yeah, so that was sad because I was really enjoying bacon. But
Yeah.
anyways, let's go ahead and keep going.
Okay.
That wasn't even a point. We should have paused that, but it's okay.
I was just because your face, you're like,
So
I'm vegan. And it was really because you had them stomach issues and you made that face. And so, yeah, that breakfast was fire.
Oh yeah, because I was like, oh, okay, good.
All right.
To get, the options. So I ended up having some dairy and something, and it made me super sick. And so I'm gonna
Bro, I have the same exact phone.
No, you don't.
No, I don't. Okay, never mind.
hear like real sick, and I'm like, I can't come out and meet you. Like, I'm sorry, which is probably a good thing. Like, that's probably
Blowing up
God,
that
like,
hotel
no.
bathroom.
Something, the purest intentions we had, though, who knows like where that could have led if we allowed that temptation to be there.
Wouldn't have been
And
good.
so we
Nope.
didn't.
Stand by that.
And the next day we saw each other again. And this day we ended up making plans later to go into town. The town we went into is San Jose, which we actually live in San Jose now, which is crazy.
San Jose, California, San Jose,
Mexico.
Honey, where do we live now?
We moved to Nashville, Tennessee.
Why did we move here?
Because the Lord told us to.
That's it. Shout out to John. John, that's my cousin. I was talking to him yesterday and he was asking me, so why? And I said, because the Lord told us to. That's literally it. That is literally it. We probably have to do an update video on that because I don't think
Why are you looking at me like that in the video?
in that video. I don't know. Because I wasn't trying to figure out what was the town called. It was San Jose, Mexico, or it was
Yeah, it's like San Jose del Cabo.
yeah,
or
that's what it was.
Something like
it
that.
wasn't San Jose, Mexico. That's why I was like, did you just say that? Whatever. Anyways, we got to make a video on why we're here in Nashville.
Well, we need to make a lot of videos, but I'm always like, oh, I'll make videos, and obviously I don't do it. So I'm done telling y'all I'm even gonna do it. If it happens, it happens.
And I am over here trying to lovingly
Aw.
push my wife into.
Nah,
Who
he
set up-
does
who
this.
set the light?
He
Who-
did. He'd set up all of this lights and the mic, and he
Okay.
did it all today for sure.
Thank you.
But there are times that he is not really on it either. But anyways, go ahead. Let's just play it.
Um, uh, we moved out to Nashville, Tennessee because God told us to. And he asked me, was there anybody just like hyping up Nashville? Was there anybody who was like, you guys have connections out in Nashville, Tennessee? Like, what is it? And I was just flat out like, nah, bro. Like, we didn't know anybody out here. Well, I don't want to say we still don't know anybody out here. We've been here for a year now. We know a lot of people, but the reality is there was no connections. We just fully left in faith, left a good job, left a great thing. And I'm still believing God's going to do great things at that church. But the reality is we just left in faith. And so we're looking at this video right now, and like we were walking in faith then, and we're still walking in faith now. And so that's the biggest point of like why I want to make the Nashville, Tennessee video, is because I feel like it just highlights our marriage of how we walk in faith. Even the church we're at now is like, oh, it's tough to be there sometimes. It is tough to be there sometimes.
Yeah. We were talking about it. I feel like God is always having us do things that are just like not the norm of
Yeah.
most Christians and most people in general. And so feels it feels like we can be isolated and kind of like, okay, Lord, like we're the only people who are doing this right now. And like it kind of, I don't want to say it's tough, but it is. And well, I don't know the right word because yeah, it's tough, but it feels like unfair at times. Like why are all these other Christians allowed, or why are they doing this? But like you say, like, we can't do this, but obviously we know it's because of our calling and where he wants to take us, and so it's fine. It's just
It's fine. I just thought of that meme where that dog is sitting in the house and everything's burning, and he's like, "It's fine." That's what I got when you said that. But it is fine. You know, the safest place for you to be is in the will of God. And I think there are a lot of people who stay in places based off their own desires and their own will, and they're gonna get the result of their own making. I think at the end of the day, I was literally just thinking this earlier. I was like, I'm so glad that it's not in my hands. I'm so glad that at the end of the day, like if I was to die tomorrow and I would look God in the face, I would genuinely, wholeheartedly be able to say, like, look, I did whatever I truly believed you were speaking to me to do. And so that's the life I want to live. That's the life I want to lead my family in. And I would just, pray that other believers would get on that same height, because it's very few and far in between that, we meet couples who are kind of walking that route. Shout out to Isaiah and Diana. They're about to move out here. I know I keep name dropping, but hey,
like,
they
know these people.
well, they're going to. They're gonna know them eventually. I believe in big things for them. Yeah, I know we got to get
We
through this.
love them. They
They
know.
do. They're moving out here soon. They feel God called them out here as well. So that's dope. Um, resume share and play. Gosh, I really do not want to stop that.
San Lucas?
Yeah, it was in this, no, it was a city.
It's a city in Mexico.
And so we ended up going into town, all of us, we take this taxi.
I think I have that
and
same
we're just,
blanket on
having
me
dinner, and
right
I,
now.
can just feel myself. I really like this person. I'm like having these feelings, and I'm just like, this isn't right because he's engaged. And so I'm really relying on God at this point to like make it known that like either I need to go this way or this way, because it just was something that you just you can't discern on your own. And
it's just really, it's not unexplainable, but it is at the same time if you've never experienced it. Again, I was coming off of the state of like God, you need to show me. Like, you need to show me what direction I need to take. And I think before, like, I even sat down with you and Andrew and your mom, I was completely waking up, going out to those benches and reading my word. I was reading a book that I was currently still haven't finished. I need to finish it, by T.D. Jakes. God turns pressure into power. And man, was I feeling pressure, like
You're not
ridiculous
gonna say
amount of
nothing
pressure.
about that.
And to kind of fast forward to what she was talking about being in.
No.
I mean, I feel like I have to say so. Look, I love Bishop T.D. Jakes. He is extremely influential in so many pastors' lives, regardless of whatever allegations have been accused of him. I pray they are not true. However, if they are true, obviously there's some things that need to happen in that church. But as far as what God has been speaking to me specifically lately is that a lot of pastors are going to start falling, that they're going to have to step down based off of some things that they've, done that are not healthy. And so that's that. And we're just going to leave it at that. And again, I pray those things aren't true. And as believers, you should be praying for leaders in the faith, because it is not easy to be up there. It is not easy whatsoever. We are pastors now. I don't know if we've shared this in a video before. Have we shared it in the video?
Mm-mm.
No. Yeah. Well, we got ordained under the Redemption Fellowship. Love our Redemption family. Shout out to Pastor Ron, Pastor Hope, Pastor Jess. Shout out to I know, I'm like, man, there's so many
Dwayne
people.
and Tasha.
Dwayne and Tasha. Man.
All right. We're done with the names.
Who else did we send our things to? Bradley and Bree. Shout out to y'all. Man, we got
I
it.
can't with you. Like, you're just too much.
I'm just unashamed of our testimony, baby. I'm unashamed of the people who have been a part of it. We love y'all.
That's fine. And I'm not either, but I'm also like, these people on the internet do not know these people.
That's true. But the people watching, they know us,
All right.
right? I mean, like the people I named, but we love y'all. Anyways, pray for Bishop T.D. Jakes. That's just all I was gonna say. And that book is crazy if you've ever read it. It is crazy. So
In San Jose and went out to dinner. I was completely just awestruck by her. I could not take my eyes off of her for the life of me. There was no strength that I could muster up to like not be captivated by her. I just couldn't help it. And I felt so awkward about it because her mom was sitting right in front of me at this table, and Hannah's like next to her mom. And so I know her mom's looking at me, but I cannot stop staring at her. And I'm just like, Lord, help me, And but when it's something is God's plan, you can't not go against God. It's literally impossible. In sin, the Bible tells you that God always gives you a way out.
that's what
There
I
was
was
no
just
way out
thinking.
with this. I'm telling you, there was absolutely no way out in this. I was praying, especially when I got home, and we'll talk about that later about my time and my prayer and fasting about this situation that I was in. But there was no getting out of this. I felt so strongly about her, and
Why do I look like that?
We got back.
You don't be listening to me. That's why.
Jamal,
So when we got
I
back from
do.
dinner, we ended up deciding to go on a walk on the beach that his friend also went on.
Yes.
And
I was trying to get rid of Andrew.
we had maybe
20,
No,
20,
no, no.
30 minutes alone.
We probably, yeah, 30 minutes alone is probably the max that we had.
Yeah.
And so after
all
this
I
walk on the
needed.
beach, we decided to like, there's these big hammocks that are like on the sand, and you can kind of stay out and look at the
Look at your
stars. Whatever.
face.
So
You're
that's what
just
we
like,
did.
oh my
And we just kind
God.
of sat there, and ironically, I was talking to his friend more than him. Like, we were having a full on like therapy session, like real talk. We were just going in about really more
We
his
were.
life and like understanding him, getting like different perspective. Yeah,
Now he's
getting
about to
different
get married.
perspective.
Shout out Drew, about to get married. Shout out Candace.
I thought even maybe like putting some advice here and there, but really just having like genuine conversation. He pretty much stayed silent for like a lot of this time. Just like
I was under pressure.
he was thinking.
I was thinking.
And so it gets about like 1, maybe even 2 in the morning. And his friend is like, I'm exhausted, guys. I'm going inside.
No, wait, you can't. No, you can't.
Finally.
When she was talking to my friend Andrew, your name's already out there, bro. I'm sorry. When she was talking to him, about
Everybody's name's
his
out there.
life and things that she's experienced and how it's related to him, I was completely hearing the Holy Spirit speak through her and speak how she views her life and how
Relationships.
her heart is. And it was her heart that really was just hitting me left and right while I was sitting there. And I was thinking, like, man, I came out here praying, like, God, if I'm going to get into my engagement, then you're gonna have to show me. But if there's another way, you're gonna have to reveal that. And I'm listening to her heart speak about how she views her life and the things that she thinks are important and valuable in a relationship. And I'm like, man,
I'm in love with
that's
you.
what I want. And I'm literally, I don't even have to tell her that because that's how she's living her life. And that's what was really, that's the moment that got me. That's the
Little
moment that
did
I
you
believed, like,
know.
this is the person I was ever
Literally.
I think that was, she wasn't even talking to me. She was just talking. Well, she knew I was listening.
Yeah.
She knew I was listening
Yeah.
intently, and I was listening to her heart speak. And
That's beautiful.
it was beautiful.
Same.
You're
And then after that, we decided, or we had this moment alone to where we just start to talk about just life in general, different things. At this point I asked, because like I felt like obviously he's having internal conflict if he can even be like entertaining the thought of me or anything, even like sitting there having these conversations with
You're
me.
like,
So
"It's
I'm
true."
like asking him questions about his relationship, if he's happy, if like this is where he feels like he's supposed to be. And yeah, I mean, you know the answer. But uh what else?
I mean, when you ask
Which
me those
honestly though,
questions,
that was such a worldly question. Like, are you happy? Like, that's such a bad gauge, honestly.
That's such a bad gauge. I don't.
Yes and no.
Yes and
like,
no. I think like my posture and my face, like what I was going through in that moment, I think you were really like, are you okay? Like, what's you good?
I mean, I was, but at the same time, like I had only experienced worldly relationships. So like if you weren't happy, you just left. You didn't
Yeah.
like really, I mean, there was some level of fight for that person, but it's just like a silly approach
I
in a way. Because I feel like if you're not happy in a marriage, I mean, I've had times where I'm not happy
mean, yeah,
and I'm gonna stick beside him.
she always says that, which is great. I'm grateful. Um, I I think you were responding to, look, I was under pressure, y'all. Like, I'm getting ready to have to marry somebody that I didn't want to marry. Like, the weight of that is heavy. And then on top of that, like you have to take on the mantle of leading that person and loving that person and sacrificing for that person and all those things. Like there's just so much weight and heaviness to that. And then you meet this person who you're just like, wow, you are everything that I want. I'm going to keep my mouth shut. And you're just like, you're responding to like just the weight and heaviness and atmosphere that I'm carrying.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think it was. I don't think it was a worldly question. It could be, let us know in the comments. You guys usually do. Some haters, and then mostly everybody's pretty supportive.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Was that it? You can play?
Yep.
All right.
There was really the background to those questions was really like her opening up about more her relationship
Not us
issues that she's
answering
had,
what we already said.
that she's never told anybody. And
Yeah, that's another
I'm
important
so
part of the story.
tired.
I had kind of a secret really that I was kind of keeping internally that I didn't share with anybody because it was super shameful. It was something that I went through in my past that I just wasn't ready to reveal to my family or anybody. But God had told me prior to meeting him that the person I would tell
20
this
minutes.
information to would be my husband. And
Not that bad.
I just felt in my spirit that I had to tell him right then. Like I was literally shaking, like did not even want to get any of this out. But I was like, oh, God's really telling me I have to tell him this right now. So I did. And I just kind of revealed a part of my heart and a part of me that was like super, just super sacred inside. And so the way that he received that was so well, and that was almost confirmation for me in itself, but I still really needed to pray about it. I really needed to have that clear confirmation from God.
I didn't. I mean, that's mentally, that's what I put myself. And
I
think that's
didn't.
like,
I didn't pray.
I did it. I did it.
really deep on this. But in that moment, she was
Not good, Jamal.
shaking. Her voice was so just not terrified, but she was like in fear of telling this random person that she's only known for 2 days.
Yeah.
That was just like, I don't know why I feel like I have to tell you this, but like this is coming out of me,
Lordy.
and I'm just thinking it's the most beautiful thing in the world because she's just opening up her heart to me, and I'm like, wow, like it's really, this exists. Like this is all I really wanted in my life, was to experience somebody who I can connect with on that deeper level. I don't want to conversate with just
Your
emotions.
face right now.
Mine?
I really want to get to the
I'm
deeper
thinking
root
that's
of
why.
what makes you you. And I think within 2 days of knowing this person, I got to see that, and I was like, okay, this is obviously we're married now, but yeah, this is the person I want to marry. And I tried to do it without her, and immediately when I got home, I couldn't. I could not. I couldn't breathe. I could not.
Couldn't
go
breathe.
through my day.
I couldn't. I could not breathe. I could not function throughout the day. She was on my mind. All I could think about was her. All I wanted to do was talk to her. And that's why I said, like, immediately, I didn't need any extra prayer. I didn't need any extra confirmation. I was actually talking to her dad about this recently, was that for a lot of men, like the Lord isn't going to tell you 1,000 different times. I think he's going to give you like one, two, really. I use a confirmation of three if it's something that I really just unsure of. But the reality is like when God tells you something and you know that He told you something, He's not going to give you a whole bunch of extra conversation. Like you need to be obedient to what He has spoken to you. And if you are not, that means you are showing Him that you are immature in your walk and you are somebody who really just doesn't want to be obedient to His voice. He wants to be intimate with you, and so that involves your level of um, of just yes of what He speaks. It shouldn't be this all whole long extra drawn out stuff, and I think that's good. Find confirmation, go fast, go seek, go pray. But at the end of the day, when you know, you know.
Mhm.
And it's not just about us. I think there's a lot of different things in life that I feel like you know, and just go and do it.
Yep. All I got to say is if you're annoyed by how much I'm playing with my hair, it's because I'm a hairstylist and I just find enjoyment in it. So
Her hand is literally in her hair in the video right now. You're doing the
I
same
know
thing.
it's just like normal. I love it. I just want to touch it.
Okay.
You need to get your hair done in Nashville.
Oh, shameless plug.
For real. Let me know.
Yeah.
I'm building my clientele.
What's your IG name?
It's at hjrose.hair.
At HJ Rose.
I specialize in balayage, highlights, lived in color.
Ooh, let's go.
If you want hair like mine,
Okay. All right.
Without having talking to her, and it was awful. But we're not there yet. Sorry.
It was
So
awful.
that night, we just shared deep thoughts, deep conversation, and then it was getting so late, we knew we had to go back.
Lord.
So this very next day, like that after we talked, I'm leaving in the morning. And Jamal ends up leaving the next day. And so we are like saying goodbye to each other this night. We literally just give each other a hug, just a friendly hug. Just to be respectful. That's something that was like such good confirmation for me was
Confirmation.
because this was such like an abnormal situation. He was still so respectful of his fiance at home and wasn't going to cross any boundaries or any lines, and neither was I just am not that type of woman, and I wouldn't want that to happen to me. So it already felt like it was crossing emotional lines, which it was.
Yeah.
Couldn't be helped.
We went back to our room. Then the next day we had breakfast together. We and his friends. Andrew was there. He was there all the time.
Yes.
And so we had breakfast together, and then we were saying goodbye to each other. And I just so strongly felt in my spirit that day that God was just like, it's yours. Don't worry about it. Like, I lived in Indiana at that time, and he was in California, and he was like, don't worry about it. Like, I'm going to work it out. You are going to be with him. And I'm like, at this point, I have like so much peace and happiness. Like, honestly, peace and happiness just for the fact, and I told him this, that like even if we didn't get married, even if we never dated or even never saw each other again, I was like in such a bad relationship previous to him. I was just like so overjoyed to even have confirmation that like men like him exist. So I was just so thankful for even meeting him and just so grateful that for that experience alone. And so yeah, I was just so happy. I was like on the plane telling I was like telling people next to me, like, I just met my husband. And yeah, we went home. And back home, things were like back into reality. I had like a thought for maybe like a day or two that I was like, no, he's probably just gonna fix things with her. Like that's what most people do, and it just is what it is.
I was sick.
I'm so funny with my facial expressions.
Terrified that I was never going to see this amazing woman ever again. I just did not
Terrified.
believe. I
Facts.
was so hurt. Got home and yeah, things were crazy. Definitely crazy.
Yeah.
I think I waited about a week to end things with my current fiance at the time. I wanted to make sure that I was making the right decision. I wanted to make sure that I was actively seeking proper counsel. I talked to, I don't know, countless people, pastors, older pastors, obviously my parents. There's numerous friends that I talked to, and I have a lot of friends, and so there were a lot of people a little bit offended that I didn't talk to them about this, but I mean, I can count on my hand.
Okay, I gotta say something funny.
Something funny.
Yeah, so I gotta say, this is how spiritually immature I was at that time and how ignorant I was. I definitely was not reading my Bible. I definitely wasn't like
Oh, this is a new
No.
Bible.
Yeah, so literally at work one day, um all of my friends and coworkers knew me to be super new age, but again, I fully thought that this was like a new age, like a new way to Jesus that's like more advanced, more fun, more with the
Which most
modern,
new age people
yeah,
do
like with the
anyways.
modern times,
Yeah.
whatever. Anyways, I asked Jamal because I was like interested in starting to read my Bible. I was like, what version do you read? And he said the ESV, like the English Standard Version. And so, uh, some of my friends at work, I was telling them, I'm like, I want to get a Bible so I can start reading it. I probably had one somewhere, but anyways. And they were like, the Bible's super outdated and like, just kind of talking crap about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, guys, like he has the ESV Bible, like the English Standard Version. Like it's an updated Bible, like it's newer, like it doesn't have a lot of that old stuff in
It
it.
shows like the ignorance of pretty much everybody who's not like actively reading their Bible because they were like, oh, like
Yeah, no, literally. They were like, "Oh, okay, like that's pretty cool." And then okay, even that, and then I remember my dad telling me, he was like, Hannah, like Jamal's a pastor, like your life is gonna look so different. Like, you have to be very like submissive and like, you're gonna need to be like a biblical wife. And I was like, it's not that big of a deal, like submissive. Like, I'm sure that yeah, I was like, well, at that time, and this still is true, but to a different weight now. I was like, well, if he's leading properly, then like I want to be submissive. And I mean, that is true, but also like I have to submit anyways, even if
regardless.
it's not.
Exactly.
But
Not talking about like any crazy abuse or
yeah.
anything like that. But
But yeah, it's just
yeah.
funny because everybody was like, Hannah, you're gonna have to be this way. I'm like, no, like you guys are crazy. Like this is the updated stuff. Like all of that stuff is out today. Like he's with the new times, y'all. Like don't even worry about it.
Lord.
So my conversations were just so funny compared to his. He was having like these serious like conversations of like, this is what your life is gonna look like, man, and da da da. And I'm like, it's gonna be fun. I remember my dad was like, he at one point he even said, what happens if it doesn't work out? And like, you want to get a divorce or something, or like, this just isn't your person. Because you don't know somebody marrying them in 3 months. I mean,
Yeah.
you do, but you don't. And so I was like, if it doesn't work out, like we'll just get a divorce. It's not that big of a deal.
Me on the other hand, like it has to work out because it's God. And so like mentally I'm
Yeah.
not thinking that at all.
I didn't either. Like I said that,
Right.
but I was like, there's no way. Like this is my soulmate. This is my person. This is everything.
Right.
And still all of that is true. And we're definitely, but now it's different because like we look at our marriage of like there's just no option for a divorce.
Yeah.
And we'd obviously put in the work to make it not get there. But anyways, just wanted to give you guys a little laugh.
A little laugh. I just think that in those conversations there was just so much faith. Like
Yeah, there really was. I felt like we truly were like little kids of like presenting this idea to people. Like, this is the best thing in the world. The fact that you guys don't believe us is, shame on you.
basically, and they're like, okay.
Yeah,
And now
seriously.
here we are, families love each other, they love
Yeah.
Stella, it's just like
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about the I remember we talk about our family's reactions in this video too. Or maybe it's the part
I
two.
think it's the part 2.
Yeah, so in one of the videos, this one or the part two, we talk about our family's reactions and how his side specifically had a really tough time. But
Right.
now, fast forward, I feel like our families, they're so close. Like they'll talk on Facebook all the time and
Yeah.
comment on each other's stuff, and you talk to my dad, my mom, our
Right.
families stay here.
Constantly.
Yeah.
We're
I talk to my mother-in-law, his mom, almost every day.
yeah.
So,
It's like it's really hard to not see God's hand in this. I think there's a lot of like ups and downs to our story, but I
yeah,
think
I feel like afterwards too, this video, well, I feel like we were a year into marriage here. I think so. And
yeah,
so we had to experience some things, but this was before COVID.
right.
And this was before, well,
No,
actually,
this is in
this
COVID.
is in COVID.
Yeah, this is in
Yeah.
COVID. Because we moved into this apartment complex right when COVID hit.
Yeah.
So,
I was
or
gonna
a few
say
months after COVID hit.
around that time. But
Yeah.
anyways, that's to say, I feel like we were like on this high of like our marriage is great and like it's gonna be perfect and like everything's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Not that we knew we weren't gonna go through hard times, but we definitely went through a lot. I feel like honestly probably the first 3.5 years of our marriage were a little rough, like good, but they were a little rough in the sense of we were trying to figure things out. And I came from such a worldly approach, like mixed with God. I had so many demonic things ingrained in me that I was trying to bring into our marriage. And then he grew in his leadership, and it was like, oh, I'm not trying to do all that.
Yeah. Growing in my leadership in the household just was like the toughest thing because I never saw that before. Um, Again, so many divorces in my family. Um, just trying to lead as the biblical head of the household in so many different ways. Um,
Yeah, and I think we're both naturally leaders. And
that
so
too.
we like really would combat, or we would have conflict in the sense of I wasn't properly submitting and taking that serious because I was like, no, this idea is better.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Just very like
There's times, obviously, to where I feel like it was
100%.
fine and it
100%.
wasn't to where it was an issue, but
Right.
it definitely, I feel like the more God called us into a deeper walk with him, it was like, okay, like these things actually do need to be broken off of you. And it was really painful because it
Yeah.
felt like an attack against your identity.
Right.
But
So many, I think half of the arguments that we had in the beginning, I really feel like this, half of the arguments that we had in the beginning where we were arguing with each other from the same standpoint, like you're saying that you're the leader and I'm the leader. And so we're arguing from the same standpoint and we end up like not coming to an agreement, which made the argument worse than
yeah,
it had to be.
we would feel so frustrated and like I wasn't being heard and he wasn't being heard.
Right.
And it's like that feeling like we would eventually resolve things, but that unheard and untouched part of us like carried on
Right.
throughout the marriage. And we didn't really realize that was such a huge open door until, God did a work.
I open door of like I guess root of bitterness and more so like open door to just continuing to spiral in like the same arguments.
Well, I
So
feel like the open door was more so like true forgiveness in a way because we hadn't come to resolution, and so we came to like a semi resolution, but it wasn't fully figured out, and so it
right.
was like there was this part that was like, okay, well, I'm kind of still hurting.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
But anyways,
Anyways,
tangent.
tangents. I mean, it's what the people are here for. We love you guys. Appreciate you watching. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. It's not even my YouTube channel. Anyways,
I know, but for I'm like, okay, Jamal.
Went to him one day about the same situation, which was emotionally draining for me.
and physically.
But I did probably 10 things with my fiance.
That's all I
And
needed.
then I felt like I
Better
had
hope
made
she's
the
not
right decision.
watching.
I was praying
I doubt
a
it.
lot. let her know. Said, hey, you know,
If she is, I wish nothing for the best from you. So
stop talking to you just to really make sure
Me
that
too, girl.
I have my heart in the right place. And she was completely understanding. And
Being
the moment
serious.
she sent that
I know you
text, I'm
are.
like, you know, you gotta do what's best
That's
for
why you
you.
said it.
And, well,
Got you, girl.
feel that.
Sorry, I take
The
your
moment she
man.
sent that text, I was sitting in my prayer closet like this.
You're wild.
And I get a text message, and instantly I was like, what are you doing? Like, it's like I knew
Oh,
all I wanted
Lord.
to do was talk to her. I knew all I wanted to do was be with her. From that moment on, it was like I was just like, all right, when are you gonna get on schedule and get on board here? Because you already know.
Yeah, but I feel like that's also like that's something that is important because like we do as Christians have to properly be able to discern and deny our flesh and like lust and all these things, and that can very
Yeah,
easily
we're still
be
knowing a
our
little bit.
situation can very
You
easily be
good.
interpreted from lust, and even looking on the outside, putting myself in other people's shoes, like I totally get why people would be like, no, like
No.
it's a vacation, fleeing or desire. Something that's also really important to mention is Jamal was re-saving himself for marriage. So at this point, he has not had sex for 2 years.
Yeah.
And he's waiting for his wife. So it's not something that we were like, you know, wanting to like meet this need or anything like that. Like it was really about spending your life with this person.
I even went to go see a marriage counselor. When I went to go see a marriage counselor, I think it was like a week after, and one of the things they had asked me was, "Well, like,
It was a couple of weeks after.
And I said, "Well,
You was lying.
I know this is not a rebound because a rebound is usually
Took a while to set up the meeting.
replace something that you had before." And I looked at the counselor and I said, "I've never had this before." And he kind of sat there with this look of expression of like,
And see, this is why I'm saying, like, you don't need a bunch of confirmations, like, when you already know that God has spoke. Like, when he asked me that, I didn't take like 30 minutes to answer. Like, I immediately answered, like, dude, I have never felt about this woman the way I've felt about any other woman in my life. And so he's just like, "Ah,
Really?
well, okay then." I'm like, yeah, next question, please. So that's what I mean by like, once you know, dude. Once God speaks,
Dude.
roll with it. Stop
roll.
copying me. It's all right. You can copy me. What do I do? Resume. There you go.
"That's a good
This
point."
whole time and not
Okay.
even be recording.
And in that moment, I knew I was like,
noticed.
so you can't tell me
You are
that
screen sharing.
I'm replacing this woman with
Pause,
every other
recording.
feeling
Yeah,
in
we're
the
recording.
world.
Oops.
I've never felt like this before, on top of the fact that I've been saving myself for the past 2 years intentionally to give this part of me to the right person. That was the biggest thing that I wanted to do. It was a standard that I had set for the relationship prior to her, and it was something that I was truly seeking after. And so I wasn't offended by people bringing that up, like, oh, well, you're just lusting and all this other things.
I even had somebody come up to me who knew my ex, who just like confessed to me. They were like, bro, like I didn't really believe like you were actually saving yourself for that long. I thought like, you guys had messed around a few times. And I was like, no. He was like, yeah, like, no, I actually ended up talking to her, and like she was like, yeah, no, we never went there. And I am so just impressed. Like I didn't know. And I'm like, I'm telling you, like when I met Hannah, like my heart sunk into my chest, just completely dropped, because I was like, she is the one that I've been waiting for this entire time, 2.5+ years, whatever.
That's the one.
That's the one. And so, um, I remember just going back in my mind and like praying to the Lord before I was even going into church. And like, this may be TMI, but like, I was on my way to see a chick and I was like, I knew I wasn't supposed to be doing what I was going to get ready to do. And I remember praying to God and being like, Lord, please just help this be my last time. And it really was my last time. Um,
My head.
I know, just making deals with Lord. You're not supposed to do that. But I mean, he blessed it and he answered it. Because I asked him, I was like, you need to like tell me like what is so special about this? Like, why can't you just, do what you want to do with whoever?
Mhm.
So yeah, I know. Wrap it up, wrap it up. Uh, or don't wrap it up. Another baby.
Wrap it up.
Another baby on the way. Don't wrap it up.
I'm not pregnant.
Why they thought that way, there was countless people currently having sex who were telling me that you're just lusting after this person, you just want to have sex with her. I'm like, you have no idea the grind that I've been on to not be in your shoes. So how are you going to tell me this is what?
Hey,
it's fine.
facts.
It's fine. But you got to be careful of the counsel that you get, because the counsel that you get isn't always coming from the right place. Even though they think that their heart is in the right place, but their character and their what they do on the day to day, if it doesn't match what you do on the day to day, it's not.
Come on, somebody.
And that God wants to benefit you. He has a higher standard and a higher calling. And I was walking that. And so
Young Rose.
Trust.
Yeah.
Stand on it, kid.
So,
Oh
So,
God.
I love
think
it.
that's something at this time I would say we were
Sleepy.
unevenly yoked in some places. He was a little bit more spiritually strong. He developed this relationship where he was going to set this standard of his relationships and himself with God, which was ultimately what I was seeking. I just wasn't all the way there. And I also believe that's why God put us together, to help strengthen me in that way. But I was still praying, asking, and kind of getting confirmation from God.
sorry.
That was like, come on now.
That this was my person. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, he confirmed it in so many different ways. I'm trying to go into different ways of confirmation.
Confirmation.
Yeah, there were so many different incidences. Also, like our moms had the same maiden name. Our moms had the same ring.
Did they?
Like,
Yeah,
you can
Friar.
actually show
Wow. I didn't remember that.
Promises.
Yeah.
Oh, my hair was nappy in the back.
So, we are saving up to get the ring that I want to get. So, are wearing Jamal's mom's ring right now.
Still working on that, y'all.
It's her ring, and this is my mom's ring. So it's
identical,
literally the same ring.
Yeah.
So just like little stuff like that was just like mind blowing to us, and just
I really forgot that your mom's main name was Fry.
At first, there was like
That's
fear,
wild.
like, I can't afford to live in California on my own. Like, if we're gonna do this, we need to get married and like move in together, because it's just not an option. And God like really aligned all of that for us and made it so just easy for us to step into. We quickly decided, like within honestly 2 weeks of talking to each other, this was gonna end in marriage. Like,
I think it was more like a month, but
I got the messages.
She does.
But yeah, we just
crazy.
both knew, whether it was a month or 2 weeks, we both knew so quickly, and like that this is where we wanted this to go, and we felt strongly about each other in this way. And so at this point,
You are so confident.
We know that I'm gonna move to California.
Wow.
California also, God put on my heart years prior that he wanted me to move there. And I was like, I can't afford it. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that. But that also tied in because that was where he lived. And then so yeah, basically leading into marriage, we spent all this time talking. We're FaceTiming every night, like falling into sleep with each other on FaceTime, spending this time to like
Every single.
I was just about to pause it to say that.
months straight.
Yeah.
Fell asleep with each other on the phone.
Yeah, every single night. And, you know, we're basically just working on ourselves individually to be able to come together. He's doing different counseling in areas of his life to where he needs to heal. I'm
Trying to hide my
doing
phone.
counseling in a different form. I like to look at YouTube videos and just different stuff online, reading and like doing all that type of stuff. And so yeah, basically the next time that we see each other is
You
our
really
wedding
messed up my
day.
hairline, Hannah. Good Lord.
Total
Like, I'm
3 days
so
later,
glad it's starting to grow
Mexico,
back.
next time we make sure we get
Yeah,
Look at that, bro.
it's pretty nuts. So, but that's just how strongly we felt. Like,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, it was scary. Like, I think when you get something from God that is like stepping out on faith,
What?
your heart and your head
What?
are like,
Not matching at all.
yeah, like you're like,
That's so
this
good.
is nuts. Like, I've never done anything like this. Like, but when God is like, no, like, this is the plan I have for you. This is where I want your life to go.
Yeah.
If you really, really put yourself out in there, like, he always, always comes through. And, you know, we're seeing that in our marriage today.
So, man,
Little did I
always
know.
comes through the fact that we're in what apartment that we're
He was
in.
going to
Yeah.
continue to make us do that all the
Countless times God
time.
has come
You
through
want me to
for us
pause
when
it?
we didn't have money.
Mhm.
I made some bad financial situation decisions. I put ourselves in a rut.
I was gonna say that.
Well, I'm just painting a picture.
Again, we have not changed at all.
Death has come so
Good
many
Lord.
times. Where we're living is,
We
amazing.
have.
We have. We've grown, but
that
our
is just
mannerisms and our
how we
behavior,
how we step out on
identical.
faith. So
Yep.
I would love to sit down with those two.
Look, that moment of stepping into the courthouse of like, we're really getting ready to do
Yeah,
this.
we did a courthouse marriage, like just eloped.
Yeah.
And so I got off the plane that day, and literally as soon as I got off the plane, like we got married. Like when, like I didn't
Within hours.
honestly, I looked terrible on my wedding day. Like I didn't even do
And
my
me
hair
against the
or like
wall,
my, yeah, I get the picture.
Don't you
Didn't
dare.
even do my hair or my makeup. Well, I did a little bit, you know, but it was
I
just
just love
like, I mean, obviously it's still cute, but you know, it's just like, ah. But I mean, we just were so excited to get married, even though we were so scared and like had all of these different feelings.
Crazy.
We felt like a marriage based on God and is designed for success, and that's truly the way that we felt.
Facts.
And so we went to the courthouse and we got married. Like up until this like point, we hadn't seen each other. Like we said, we literally had our first kiss on our wedding day. Like nuts.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's
So did I.
crazy. Like
Man.
I'm not that type of person normally either. Like I'm pretty practical and pretty, and you are too. Like we're both pretty like intentional with the things that we do. We think through things, but this was just like an undeniable, like this is where I'm calling you.
Yeah.
And yeah, we did it. And now it's almost been a year. It'll be a year in August, obviously. But you know, we're still learning new things as we go each and every day, learning how to better communicate and meet each other's needs, and honestly just the amount of spiritual growth that's been between our relationship, especially on my end. I was lacking a little bit, like I said at first, but Jamal was just so patient with me, and he just really let me grow in that area and get into that deep relationship without making me feel like it was something I had to hurry up and do. So that just made me love him more. And he
Paused it. What were you gonna say? What were you gonna
I
say?
wasn't gonna say nothing.
No, you were gonna say something. All right. Well, what is the difference between that Hannah right there and this Hannah now?
Oh.
That's a good question. That is a great question. I know my answer for myself.
Tell me yours.
My answer for myself is that I um I needed that revelation from Genesis of, Eve not being the perfect wife. I think I came into it not holding you to a standard, but to um watch you grow from where you came into the marriage to this Hannah right here that we're watching. Um, your growth was just so exponential. I thought that there was going to continue to always be at that level. And so when I didn't see that throughout our marriage, I think that put me in a place where I was like, well, she's not perfect. So therefore, then maybe I got it wrong. Like maybe I wasn't supposed to marry this person. But the reality is like, nah, bro, like your spouse, you're not perfect and your spouse isn't going to be perfect. So
Mm,
you have to look at it from the space of like, what is God calling you to be in leading your spouse through this time in your marriage? Um, so
yeah. I feel like kind of the same on for me. I had expectations of you for sure. And then when you didn't meet them the way that I wanted it to, it was definitely disappointing.
yeah,
But I feel like I feel like too my faith at that point
mm,
and the way I viewed things was so based off of circumstance.
yeah,
And like if you did this or if you were patient with me in this area like that like solidified a love feeling for me or
yeah.
something. And so I feel like I had to learn,
To love sacrificially,
yes.
like through disappointment.
Yeah.
Um,
And just that was something I feel like God really convicted me on, and that was a turning point in our marriage was when I was able to love Jamal in that same kind of honestly in the same way you did for me in the beginning of our marriage, like regardless of you not reciprocating what I needed. So
yeah,
I that really helped me grow in my faith and become a better wife because I place such a expectation, and you're the head of the household, so you need to be perfect and you need to operate like this as a leader all the time. And when you don't, then I'm not naturally going to fall into this because of order. Like I was blaming it on order, and there is an order to things, but regardless of you not doing your job, I still have to do mine.
right,
And I would use that as an excuse of like, well, I don't need to submit to you, or not that it's not that I felt like I didn't need to submit to you. I felt like I did, but I just allowed the excuse to. It's really hard to submit to you, or it's really hard to be a godly wife when you're not being a godly husband.
right,
And I just would run with that. I'm like, how do you do that when somebody else isn't? And it's really hard.
yeah.
You don't want to do it, but
But then I would be able to be like, okay, so if you're not going to be the godly wife, like it's really hard for me to be the godly husband and it's just this cycle.
yeah. But I think in that revelation and what is different between Hannah then and Hannah now
Yes.
is I feel like I love God more than I love you. Like I didn't love God that much at that time in my life. I loved you more. And so when you would disappoint me or hurt me, I would be like, "Oh, you're terrible." But now I've learned,
Devastated.
yeah, now I've learned to just focus on God and get what I need from him. So if you're not giving me that, it's not like my world is ending.
Right. Right. That was probably the biggest thing is like I would just feel this weight of disappointment and shame because she was just so distraught and devastated. I'm like, geez, I made a mistake. Like, I don't
Okay,
have
all
the
right.
freedom to.
Some
Okay.
crazy now, but
Okay.
I definitely was emotional. I would cry and feel like I would cry a lot during arguments or something. And it was just really hard for me to get past.
Yeah. Yes. You're She is the emotional one. I am not the emotional one. I'm more the logical. So it's hard to
Most men.
what?
Listen, most men. Sorry, I keep yawning. Literally, it's almost midnight. So like we need to wrap this up.
Yeah,
That's right. We have how many minutes left?
I think like
Hopefully less than 10.
I think we have like 10. I can't see.
Hope you guys like this long video.
Oh, we have definitely less than 10 because it's only like 41 minutes or something like that. Or 46, I think.
Okay.
I don't know, 41. So we have like 4 minutes.
He just loves me in a way that Christ would. And that was so important to me to have in a partner, in a marriage, especially. Just really feeling that different type of security. Like we could have a little argument or like a fight or whatever, but at the end of the day, like I know that he's not going to leave my side, and that like divorce isn't really an option for us. Like you know, we want to work through it. We want to be together. Like this wasn't something that we're like, if it doesn't work out, like we'll get divorced. Like we really, really want to figure it out and grow together. And
Both of our parents have been divorced, and
yeah,
we were adamant on talking about that within those nights of staying on FaceTime.
yeah, breaking those generational curses and like just doing it, making it work. And
Don't do it.
Wait, what?
I said don't do it.
Look, breaking those generational curses is tougher than what you think. And literally, we were just talking about this when Hannah was on her way home. It is just because you face headwind in your walk with the Lord and your walk in your marriage together does not mean you're going in the wrong direction. It just means you're having to plow through stuff that the generations before you did not overcome. So now you have to do it. And it just makes it a lot harder. And so we're trying to make it easier on our kids to show them something that I think we never saw growing up.
Yeah. I mean, yes and no. We had some good parents.
We had
but
some great parents. Absolutely. 100%. But I think both of our parents would agree we have generational curses that we are trying to break in
Yep.
this marriage right here. So
Yep.
shout out to our parents. You guys did amazing, and we love you so much.
You forgot to mention their names.
Oh,
No. Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
you.
Silly little goose.
Mhm. Oh, there's it.
it
There we go.
really, it's different when you have a relationship that is physical, emotional, and spiritual. I really believe that you have to have all three of those things. I've been in other relationships where I've had one or maybe two, but like having all of those three things just allow.
How do you have? How do you only have two? What relationships were you in where you only had two?
What do you mean?
Physical, emotional, but you didn't have the spiritual, or
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Were you ever with somebody that you didn't find attractive?
Yeah.
So I was like, wait, what? Oh, that's tough.
They were really nice, but that was like that was so sad. I was such a big people pleaser to where I would feel bad because somebody really liked me, and so I would be
Hannah. Good
they were
grief.
so
That's why I was like, how do you only have two? Like, if you didn't have the spiritual, then like there's only physical and emotional.
yeah, well, I'm saying like you have the physical, like you're attracted to somebody.
Yeah. But you said you sometimes you only have one, maybe sometimes you have two. And I'm like,
Well, I mean, because I feel like everybody, well, not everybody, but some people, they go through that.
I guess. Yeah. No,
I was
I feel it.
young,
I feel it.
real
Yeah.
young.
Young. I'm young. We're
I
still
can say that.
young. We're getting old though. That's for sure.
You're getting old.
I'm getting old. That's what it is.
Not me.
Okay. Share.
Allows you to connect with your partner on such a different level.
Yeah. I think we in Mexico we connected spiritually
You can't
without
help
even
it.
talking to each other.
Yeah.
And then the FaceTimes, they were a very emotional connection. We were exchanging words. It was very emotional. And then we got to have that physical on the day that we got married. I think we did it in the right way.
Yeah.
So I said that.
I definitely, I mean, God answering my prayer in the form of my husband, the way that he did, and like blessing me so much at that point when honestly, I mean, none of us deserve it, but like just didn't even deserve it. I wasn't even fully like deep in my relationship with God, but he still just like was so faithful to me and his plan, and
He really
that
loves
alone made me
me.
grow closer to God because I was like, he loves me so much that he wants to give me who I
Oh,
really
wow.
Same,
It's true.
same. Monday night prayers.
Yeah.
Dang.
Our relationship so much. We
Calling us out.
We don't be
Dang.
doing our Monday night prayers no more, y'all. We gotta get back
don't.
on it.
We do. We definitely do. But what have I been doing for the past July, August, September, October, November, December, January, for the past 7 months? And I'm trying to get you on it. And you have been on it a little bit, but not like you should be.
Yeah, but
But
I'm not gonna
nothing.
go into this right here because
Why
I can say
not?
some stuff about you.
What you gonna say about me? I'm an open book.
You know.
I don't.
Just
I
kidding.
truly don't.
I was just gonna say, like, I've already told you. You want me to pray the prayers, so we just need to do it together and then we don't miss.
We need to have our individual
Mhm.
times and then come together. But
Well, yeah, that too.
that's what I
But
know.
I'm saying for that specific prayer, that's the together part.
So the specific prayer is it's a lot, to be honest with you, but it's really only like, if you just sit there and read through it, it's really only like 2 minutes tops. But it definitely goes through just covering yourself, covering you, your family, your children, making sure you got the armor on for the day, making sure that you are anointed from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet, speaking the word over your life. um Back in July 2023, like, I just got pissed off at the devil, man. I was like, nah, like, I'm not having it anymore. Like, I need to start throwing blows back at the devil myself. Like, if he's going to continually hit my marriage, hit my finances, hit my family, hit my friends, hit my kids, my, like, Selah at the time, like, she was having like these random nightmares, like scares just out of nowhere. And I was like, all right, I'm done. I've had it. I had nightmares as a kid, like as a really young kid. And so I was like, nah, bro, I'm tired of that. And so that's the reason why I put together this list of prayer. If you want it, type it in the comments. I'll throw it out there. I got it saved on my phone, so I just copy and paste.
You'll just put it in the description of this video.
Okay, we can do that too. Um, so yeah, you want to kick the devil in the teeth every morning? Pray this prayer. It's not my prayer. It's just, loads of scripture in there, and then speak in tongues after. Confuse the devil. All right.
All right, so that's the end of this video.
Is it?
Honestly, there's like a minute left.
Yeah,
We can just
we're
stop.
probably done.
Yeah, I think this the rest of the video we're just talking about Monday night prayer, and
We need to get back on.
yeah, which we definitely need to get back on. Um, but yeah, that is it. We are so, well, I'm so tired, obviously, as you've seen me on 1,000 times. So that was really fun. I liked seeing that. It
Yeah,
was cute.
it was. I think it was a great reminder of how far we've come, but I think it's also a reminder that we need to record more and post more, because we're trying to catch them up on so much. And like,
I know, literally, we've had a whole baby. It's been 2
you know what I'm
years.
saying, had a whole
It's really
kid.
been a hot minute.
We're in
But
a whole new
I feel like
state.
the best part about it is I feel like that video a lot of this stuff, I was thinking, oh, we've grown so much and like we're so spiritually mature, and we were to a certain degree, but I still feel like a lot of the stuff we said is so good and it's so still true to this day. And so
Yeah.
I feel like that was a good reminder to watch and then just to be able to look back at how far God has taken us
Right.
in just a short amount of time. So I was telling Jamal this when we first moved to Tennessee, like I feel like we have moved a ton. Well, I have. I moved from Indiana to California and then to California to the first place we lived in and then to our apartment and then we moved to Hope Street, which was a different place in California. So
We haven't talked
three
about
times.
Hope Street or nothing, bro.
Yeah, it was so much moving and then we moved across the country here. And I'm like, we are staying here.
Yes,
We're not-
Lord, in Jesus' name, please.
Yeah,
But
so
like,
but we do really love it here and we feel like this is our home.
definitely. Hope Street was a part of a ministry that we were with out there. Shout out to Family Life. And then moving from there to here, we just got a lot to catch you guys up on. So we apologize.
Honestly, I don't even think we're really gonna go back.
I think we're going to go back. I think it's necessary so you guys are not watching this massive gap and then we just, continue to go on and you guys are like,
I don't know.
fill us in, please. Let us know. Let us know in the comments below. Fill you in or just keep going and don't fill you
The
in.
keep going is I want another baby.
Oh, well, yeah.
I want another baby. Jamal is about to quit his job. Perfect.
Lord.
Um,
Lord provide.
yeah. He's gonna work still. It's just gonna be
Yes.
from home and a different avenue.
Yes.
It's gonna require some faith.
It is.
Nothing new.
Nothing new for us.
Yep.
Glory to glory and strength to strength. Why not take us from faith to faith? Good grief. We love you guys. Appreciate all the support and the love. For the haters, we love you too. Okay. Praying for y'all.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Bless y'all.
The haters.
Yeah, you have something special for them. Like, that's another thing.
That's another thing. No, honestly, I feel like we are low-key the best people for the haters because I don't know about you, but that really does not affect me. Like, I will see your guys' comments and I'll just continue to go about my day.
Yeah, no.
Like, sometimes I'll respond, but it really doesn't even get to me at all. So,
The only thing that I think gets to me as far as a hater will go, and I don't necessarily call them a hater, is like if somebody's theology is incorrect, like if they're coming at
some
me,
people be like,
just
you can't marry her because
she's white, and I'm like, bro, like,
I'm like, all right.
there is no Greek nor Jew nor like, come on, bro, like read your Bible.
Yeah.
Good grief.
That type of stuff is annoying, but it's not like, oh, you ruined our day.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No.
Yeah, that type of stuff just doesn't get to us.
It doesn't.
Even when people comment about my physical appearance. Not as much yours. Sometimes people say stuff about your hair.
Somebody was like pineapple head, and Hannah was laughing the whole day off of that. And I'm just like,
No,
okay, yes,
but I did definitely laugh.
Yes.
And then somebody for me there was like, you've gained like 1,000 pounds.
Somebody said 1,000. See, she's so dramatic. Like nobody
but
said
but
that.
somebody was like, oh my god, she's gotten so much bigger, and like I know I've gotten bigger and it does suck, but I'm also not like, oh, they hurt my feelings because they called me fat.
Right.
So
I mean, I've got bigger too, gained 20 pounds. So
yep,
gotta lose that. We're working on it.
just got more favor.
Yeah, 100%. Just, the anointing is the fat.
It's heavy.
Read your Bible. I'm telling
The
y'all.
armor of God is so heavy.
The armor
scale went up.
Is heavy. The calling is heavy. Good Lord. Can y'all imagine, bro? The Lord just taking you out of one place and saying, hey, I'm calling you to Nashville, Tennessee. Bro, I'm from Cali, dog. Like, what are you talking about? And then the Lord just had somebody cut us off with a license
Oh
plate in
my
the back
God.
of it said Nashville, Tennessee. I was like, that's it.
Don't get into all that right now.
I know.
All right, I'm too tired.
Uh, we love y'all. Take care. God bless. You want to pray them out? Gotcha. Monday night prayers, right?
Oh,
It's literally it's Monday. It's Monday. It's midnight. Get them hands.
Jesus, I thank you for this day. I thank you for all of our YouTube subscribers, and all of our watchers and viewers, and everybody who's going to be touched by this video and be encouraged. In Jesus' name, I thank everybody for their patience through all of the craziness of this video. Lord, would you just use it? Would you bless it? Would you send it to people that we don't even know and that we're never, ever, ever going to be in contact with? But use it for your glory, Jesus. We thank you for everything that you've done for us, everything that you're going to continue to do. We thank you, Lord, for the trials and the suffering because it just brings us closer to you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen and amen. We love y'all. God bless. We'll see you in the next video. Why we came to Nashville. I don't know if that's gonna be the next video. Sorry.